Welcome to the talk show Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. The goal of this show is to provide a learning experience to people of all ages, with guests from various fields in academics, a wide range of industries, and insight into the many forms of art, athletics, and entertainment. We hope you enjoy the show. Rapper, entrepreneur, and member of Flip Mode Squad, Roger Rampage Mcnair is today's guest. Rampage will be talking about his experiences as a rapper. He will also talk about the importance of business knowledge in the entertainment industry, as well as his life as an entrepreneur.
Rapper and entrepreneur Roger Rampage Mcnair, welcome to Life Stories with Marc Hoberman.
What's up, Mark? Salute you, bro. What's up?
Thanks. So good to see you. Great to have you on the show. Rampage,
thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Got to ask you from the jump, Rampage, what is the story behind your stage name, Rampage, and how does it reflect your identity as an artist?
Well, my stage name comes from, being a knucklehead in Brooklyn, Flatbush, Brooklyn, born and raised in Flatbush, Brooklyn, from the homes of the greats of the Special Eds, Chubb Rock, the Busta Rhymes, Tony Danzas from my neighborhood in Flatbush. So, and all the rest of the Brooklyn Knights. So I get my name Rampage from being one of those knuckleheads in Brooklyn.
Gotcha. I appreciate the honesty. When it comes to your music, and go from Brooklyn, from being a Rampage or being a knucklehead, how do you all of a sudden now approach the creative process when you're writing your lyrics and you're composing music?
Well, I come from the background of freestyle. You know what I'm saying? You battle. I used to battle a lot of kids from Brooklyn, and challenging myself and always being good with words, because I had a mother who sat at the table and was stressing me about learning how to read. And one thing my mother always taught me is about, you have to read and you have to know math. If you never finish school, you have to learn how to read and know math. And in the earlier days in my career, I always kept a book, like if you were writing poems, but it was actually my rhyming book, and I used to get a spiral, back in the days, those black and white spiral notebooks.
Yeah,
and I would just sit down and just write my thoughts in those spiral books. And, now I'm putting little 2-minute raps together, which is considered poems. You know what I mean? So by many of years of doing that, turn it into an artistry and an art form, which I had to remember a lot of those things. And the mind is a terrible thing to waste. So every time I wrote something down or I went to battle, I had to go dig in these spiral books to remember my fresh raps that I was writing. My little 2 minutes, and my 2 minutes of raps was turning into 30 minutes and 60 minutes. So I just got good with it. It was just like if you were writing down a poem or something, or you was writing a book and you kept writing and kept writing and kept writing, but I kept writing it in rhyme. So that kind of like positioned me to write compositions and poems and raps. And I just got good at it. And then when I first got to record my first demo, me having the spiral notebooks, trying to figure out song structure. I didn't know song structure until one of my producers, Backspin, showed me how to put my raps in song structure. And that's how I was able to be creative to write a song, because someone told me that if I wrote 12 verses, if I wrote a 12 verse, that was considered the first verse for a song at that time. Or if I wrote a 16 verse, that was considered a 16 verse. Then, as the years was going by, I just got better at it. Then I was like, hey, I could really do this. I figured out on my own that I could really write, far as an artist. And I didn't know at the time that I was writing as an artist. So, now I'm enjoying it even more, because years later, I'm able to write for myself and others.
I love that because we spoke a couple of days ago. I was an English teacher for over 30 years, and the students don't realize the writing prowess that you need to write raps. And I remember, and I love the fact that you mentioned poetry, because when I taught the kids a poem once, I gave them a poem called "The Rose That Grew from Concrete," and I left the author's name off of it. And they liked the poem, but they only loved the poem when I told them that it was written by Tupac Shakur. So
Right.
just love the fact that, and so many people, I've spoken to many musicians, many rappers. I've had Curtis Blow on the show. Of course, I'm honored to have you tonight. And so many of them have told me that family members have told them how important education is. I love to hear that your mother told you, hey, if you do nothing else, you learn that reading and you learn that math. And we'll talk about that later. We know
arithmetic.
Arithmetic.
She was like, she would, and my mother's name is Miss Catherine, and she's still alive to this day. She stressed me about that because, again, she didn't want me to go out into the world and not knew how to read and not know my math. I was a kid growing up in Flatbush, Brooklyn, where I used to struggle with that because I used to hate going to school every day, having to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And then every couple of years you graduated. I was one of those kids that used to play hooky because school, like, I could do it, but it was boring to me. But what drew my attention when, I'm seeing other kids in the neighborhood becoming rappers. This is the 89 year, right? Becoming rappers and becoming successful, growing up watching things like Video Music Box. That was something, Ralph McDaniels, it was a local video show that came on in every parts of the city in New York City that all us kids used to watch for free. And we'll see every West Coast, East Coast, whatever coast you was from, being in the music artistry. You know what I mean? It's an artistry first. So that's when, I knew that I wanted to do something different besides being a fireman, besides being, whatever I could be. Now, I'm one of those realists.
Right.
Whatever I put my mind to, I know I can do. I never take no as an answer. Somebody said I can't do it means I can do it. My mother always put those things in my head to be strong-minded because, again, the game, growing up, as we grew up, you have to have tough skin to understand what the world is going through. And you have to make a difference. I tell every artist who enter the music artistry, you have to have tough skin. Everybody always chase fame. You can't chase fame. You got to be already built with it. You can't pay for it. You got to already be built with it. You already got to have it. A lot of these people want to blow up real fast and they don't get it. You get one hit and then they fade away. Me, I've been in the game 25 years. I understand the public structure of music business. A lot of these kids don't understand the music business. They just understand what they see as a picture, but there's more to that picture,
Oh, for sure. And I'm so glad you mentioned the 25 years. So you've been a member of Flip Mode Squad going on 25 years now. So collaboration's a huge part of the music industry, and certainly for you. So can you tell us about some of your favorite collaborations and what you've learned from working with other artists?
Well, working with my cousin Busta Rhymes, who I grew up with, he taught me a lot about the game. And again, having tough skin, learning when to hold them and when to fold them. He actually taught me how to just be a man. He actually, that's my big brother. Like even though he's my first cousin, is my big brother, raised in the same house. He taught me how to walk. He taught me an attitude. He taught me a strength. He taught me a knowledge. If I wanted to be in this business, I got to keep moving. And when I fall, I got to get back up. And when something don't work out, it's not personal, it's just business. You got to try it another way. And if this don't work, you got to try it another way. So I learned a lot of things from my big cousin who pointed me in the right direction. So if it was never for him, I wouldn't be here talking to you or talking to anyone else. So I got to give him that credit. And I want to always say thank you. And I'm grateful. And I want to also say grateful for God for waking us up to do this. I just collaborating with the LL Cool J's, the Puffies, the Biggie Smalls, the Craig Macks, you know, such great people, such great minds, you know, whole bunch of great minds in the same room create a remix classic that's forever, which is Flavor in Your Ear remix. You know, being in the rooms of Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, Alicia Keys, you know, being in a successful group, which is Flip Mode Squad, myself, Busta Rhymes, Rod Digger, Baby Sham, Spliff Star, being on the road, traveling, you know, those experiences, getting to see the other parts of the world. My favorite part of the world is being in Chile. When I'm in Chile, which don't speak no English, but know a Rampage album of words is real deep to me. Where a kid from Flatbush, Brooklyn, you know, a few years early, didn't know anyone from overseas that knew this kid from Flatbush, Brooklyn. So I think that's deep when I go overseas and in the Poland, in the Highlands, and I have a huge fan base in those countries, as far as real rap, hip hop, underground, boom bap, you know. So I'm grateful. You have to be grateful and you have to be humble. So those are the experience I've learned.
I think that's great because I'm hearing a couple of themes here, and I hope people who are listening are really seeing behind the rap itself. You mentioned family a lot. You mentioned business a lot. You say the name Busta Rhymes, and of course it's a huge name, but I hear love, and respect, and appreciation, and that's a huge thing. Because on my show, Rampage, we often talk about the story behind the glory. When you have that good Miss Catherine behind you, when you have that cousin Busta Rhymes and friends, it really helps you work through the struggles that inevitably come up in any business, but certainly the music business. So what struggles did you have to overcome when you first entered the music business?
Well, the struggles is understanding the music business because I didn't understand.
Right.
You know, there was a lot of things I didn't understand about having presence, about having affiliation, about learning your own structure, becoming your own person, having to grow up quick at 17 when you get your first deal, having to be traveling on the road and getting your first deal and understanding how to keep your deal. You know, these are a lot of people that, you know, we sign record deals and don't understand, you know, the structure of our deal. And at a very early age, I was understanding the structure of my deal and understanding how to become an artist in the very beginning, because I wasn't an artist. I was an underground artist, but I was an artist. But again, I wasn't developed yet, making sure I had the right development. So, you know, when you enter anything, you got to understand what the structure is, or you can't do it at your fullest. So it took me a couple of years to understand, and riding on Busta's back, understanding the music structure and what I wanted to do. And he gave me an opportunity, and he opened up the door for me to get my first deal on Rowdy Records with a Dallas Austin, a Clive Davis. Like, you know, Busta brought all that for me. I didn't expect none of that. But, you know, he saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself until later on. And all I kept doing was listening. I didn't ask no question. I was listening because my mentor was talking. See, a lot of us, you know, we go to school and we have certain teachers as mentors. So Busta was my teacher and my mentor, helping me understand structure of the music business. Now I'm able to swim 20 years later in the music business by understanding knowledge. One thing, when you learn something, you have to learn the knowledge, because you can't have the right qualifications if you don't got the knowledge. You're going to keep failing. So I failed a few times because I was being hard-headed and I wasn't listening. When I started listening, I became a millionaire. When I started listening, I became a millionaire. It turned on for me. So,
well, that's incredible support. But you mentioned development. I really want to touch upon that, because so much knowledge. I mean, you're a teacher's dream, because you're talking to things that a lot of people preach, but they don't always walk the walk and talk the talk. And you absolutely do both. But I know that you've taken this knowledge and you've applied the knowledge of the music business, with the emphasis actually on business for you. So what can you tell us about how you've applied knowledge from the music business into other business ventures that you've been involved in?
So again, that's why I said become a millionaire. Making my first million, understanding that I'm a kid from Flatbush, Brooklyn. I'm just giving you the dialogue of it. A kid being from Flatbush, Brooklyn, who has a famous cousin who believed in him more than he believed in himself. But then there comes a time where you learn and you start generating money by listening. Because then I wasn't really listening, because I didn't understand the music business, because I always took it personal. When I stopped taking it personal, I started listening. But I also started listening to the people like a Clive Davis, the Chris Lighties, the L.A. Reids, the executives, the Sylvia Romes, the executives, on how they made things happen in the music business. And I always been achieved. I always been, it always attracted me, the business of it. I didn't know how to when I started going to seminars and people started talking about books they were writing because they made this company 30, 40 million. But see, one thing a lot of people, when you go to these seminars that I catch, the game is they never tell you the truth. They tell you just enough to rope you in, because now everybody in the room is intrigued because you made $30 million or you made $40 million, but you never really told them how you did it. You just told them enough just to draw them in to buy your book at the front door of the seminar. So I would go to a lot of business seminars for music business, and I would bring my pen and pad and I would write certain things down. But I noticed something. All of them kept pulling me in circles because they never would tell me the real thing, what to do. And the thing is, when you're in this business, you always got to think outside the box. Right. If you don't think outside this box, you will not survive in the music business. So I'm watching Chris Lighty negotiate deals for people. And he always told me, when you negotiate a deal with somebody, make sure you come in at a right number, always come in at a right number, and always find a way or clause that you can always get out if it goes left. Mm-hmm. And I just remember him telling me the best deals are a good deal, but you always want to keep friends because you never know when you might have to cross that bridge again. Yep. So this is the things I'm learning for Chris Lighty by him negotiating deals for me. And R.I.P. Chris Lighty, one of the best managers to do it. Him learning how he did business structure, coming from a management background. Remember, I'm a kid from Brooklyn. I don't have no degrees. I'm just learning this like a freestyle. I'm just learning this like a song. I see him negotiate so many deals for so many artists. I just thought that was intriguing until I sat down and did my first deal. And my first deal, I negotiated $600,000. with a record label. And then once I started doing that, now I caught on to how to do correct business, because a lot of us get caught up in personal stuff and not understand what the business is. So sometimes you got to separate personal from business. And a lot of us in the music business doesn't know how to do that. We always point fingers to the record label or the manager or the lawyer or somebody that didn't do it, instead of saying, I didn't correctly read that contract right. Because if you correctly read your contract right, you would understand it said that, but you didn't. You took the advance. You took the money without reading. So this is why your career is at a standstill.
Exactly.
These are the things Chris Lighty told me to watch out for. These are the things he told me to make sure I'm understanding what I'm signing before I sign. Understand the deal before I walk into the deal. Understand how to maneuver the deal, cater it more to me, where I'm comfortable, where I can do my best work. So basically, if the deal was for $50 million, I already knew that I could triple the 50 million before I do it. And don't never do a deal if you got $50 million already. You want to do a deal which you don't have. You know what I'm saying? And never shoot yourself in the foot. So by me doing these couple of deals, I landed a sneaker deal with a company in another country. Now I'm able to do Michael Jordan deals.
Right.
Now I'm able to do music deals. Now I'm able to do movies and television deals. There's no limit, but that's just, we have to learn business structure, business etiquette. A lot of us, we all got genius minds, but sometimes we don't turn them on.
I just want to say quickly to the viewers, don't forget to watch us on E360 TV, available on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. EST, on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire. Remember to follow us on social media. Life Stories with Marc Hoberman is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and of course our YouTube channel. I want to first say, Roger Rampage Mcnair, thank you. And I really, God bless Miss Catherine and Busta Rhymes for being such big parts of your life. And thank you for all the golden nuggets you dropped on us today. So Rampage, thank you so much for being our guest today.
It's your boy Rampage. Salute to Mark for having me on the show. Also, I want to give a super duper shout out to Tara Lynn Towns for the new book, Are You Raising a Bully? I just got my book. I want you to go get yours on every book platform. It's your boy Rampage, First Lieutenant of the Flip Mode Squad. I got my book. Get yours now. Yeah.
Thanks for she's going to love that shout out. Rampage, thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. To contact Marc, email him at info@lifestorieswithmarchoberman.com or visit him on social media through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman.